right? Okay, and then you turn around, but in your era, LeBron James sitting there, he holding every single basketball record. I mean, every single one of them. And you're looking at a Kevin Durant and you're looking at a Steph Curry, but then when y'all say who the greatest, y'all talk about the guy that gave you some shoes and, gave you some warm-ups.
On this show, for the record,
Isiah Thomas may have just put the LeBron GOAT debate to rest, and he did it without making noise. One simple truth he pointed out has everyone strangely quiet, and once you hear it, you'll understand why. This has nothing to do with championships, numbers, or comparing eras. It's about a factor LeBron can never alter. The line that separates all-time greats from the undisputed greatest. And Isiah didn't sugarcoat a thing. Let's break it down.
LeBron James. He said, do you think LeBron James is greater? Here goes him or Michael Jordan. And he says, well, what hasn't he done to be the greatest of all time? That's what Isiah Thomas looked confused. But what had me confused, he was literally confused as to how this was even a conversation, it seemed to me, by looking on his face. He didn't even know what to say. He was like, well, what hasn't he done? How is he not? Like, he literally said, why isn't he the best ever? Why?
Look, we've all seen this movie before. Every week, a new GOAT take pops up like it's breaking news. LeBron supporters lean on longevity and all-time stats. Jordan fans fire back with 6 championships and an untouched finals record. Kobe fans? They're on a different frequency entirely. But let's be honest, most of this is just background noise. Endless debates, recycled arguments, and people handpicking numbers that suit whatever side they're already on. But when Isiah Thomas weighs in, it hits differently. This isn't a content creator chasing views or a studio analyst who never broke a sweat on the hardwood. This is a man who went head-to-head with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird at their absolute peak. Someone who survived the physical chaos of the bad boy Pistons just to earn a ring. And above all, he stood in front of Michael Jordan as MJ was transforming into a basketball myth, and he didn't flinch. So when Isiah dropped his take on the GOAT debate in early 2025, it wasn't something you could just ignore. Especially because what he said cut straight through the core of LeBron's argument. And here's the part that really makes you pause. The media went quiet. No ESPN breakdowns. No shouting matches on First Take. Nothing. And when the loudest voices in basketball suddenly have nothing to say, that silence speaks volumes. Want it shorter, more dramatic, or more neutral? I've got you.
Our era up. Y'all go back and say our era was the greatest. Oh, Michael Jordan was the greatest. Nobody could ever be greater than Michael Jordan, right? Okay, and then you turn around, but in your era, LeBron James sitting there, he holding every single basketball record. I mean, every single one of them. And you're looking at a Kevin Durant and you're looking at a Steph Curry, but then when y'all say who the greatest.
So what did Isiah actually say? In a conversation that somehow slipped past the spotlight, Isiah was asked directly about the GOAT debate. No dodging. No safe, media-trained answer. No, they're all great in their own way cop-out. He went straight for the throat. Isiah said, you can't be the greatest of all time if you had to go looking for championships. The real greats made championships come to them. Let that sit for a moment. He never said LeBron's name, but he didn't need to. Everyone in the room knew exactly who that was aimed at. And the silence that followed said everything. Because what Isiah was really calling out wasn't skill or numbers, but dominance. True, unavoidable dominance. When you're genuinely the most unstoppable force in basketball, you don't bounce from situation to situation trying to find the perfect setup. You don't jump ship, recruit stars, and engineer super teams. You are the system. You are the advantage. Jordan didn't leave Chicago to chase help in New York. Magic didn't walk away from the Lakers to join Bird in Boston. Kobe didn't flee to San Antonio when things got rough to link up with Duncan. They stayed. They endured. They imposed their will, and the titles followed. LeBron's path tells a different story. Miami. Back to Cleveland. Then Los Angeles. Each stop carefully calculated, each move designed to tilt the odds. And Isiah's message cut straight through the noise. That isn't greatness pulling championships toward itself. That's greatness chasing them. That's the uncomfortable truth. The one argument LeBron's resume can never fully outrun.
Excuse me when I say this, but y'all treat him like he ain't nothing. And I'm talking
wow.
Y'all act like, well, y'all instead of pubbing y'all era up, y'all go back and say our era was the greatest. Oh, Michael Jordan was the greatest. Nobody could ever be greater than Michael Jordan, right? Okay, and then you turn around, but in your era, LeBron James sitting there, he holding air.
Now look, this isn't about tearing down LeBron. He's an all-time great, top 5 easily. But GOAT? That's where Isiah's point becomes uncomfortable. LeBron's strongest case has always been longevity and all-around brilliance. Over 20 years in the league, still producing at an elite level in 2025. 10 finals appearances. 4 championships. Arguably the most complete player the game has ever seen. He scores, passes, rebounds, defends, he does everything. On paper, the resume is incredible. But Isiah's argument slices straight through all of that. Because none of those accomplishments happened organically in one place, with one core against the league's best, without stacking the deck first. Let's start with Miami. LeBron didn't conquer the league, he coordinated. He called Dwayne Wade. He called Chris Bosh. Then he went on national television and announced, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." That wasn't beating the competition, it was overpowering it with a pre-built super team. And even then, it took 4 seasons to come away with just 2 titles. Then came Cleveland version 2. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were already in place before LeBron returned. The front office emptied the war chest to meet his demands. And the moment things started to unravel, when Kyrie wanted out, LeBron was gone again. Next stop, Los Angeles. He teams up with Anthony Davis. The Lakers gamble on Russell Westbrook. When that experiment fails, the front office rushes to flip the roster once more, all to align with LeBron's shrinking timeline. And now, in 2025, as Father Time finally starts tapping him on the shoulder, the rumors are already swirling about what his next move could be. See the pattern. When the situation isn't perfect, there's always an exit plan. When the path gets difficult, there's a reset button. That isn't dominance forcing championships into existence. That's chasing the ideal setup. That's hunting for rings. Now compare that to Jordan. 6 straight years getting beaten down by the Pistons. 6 years of physical punishment and psychological warfare. Did he leave Chicago? Did he call Magic to team up in Los Angeles? Did he look for an easier road? No. He stayed. And eventually he broke the league. And that's exactly why Isiah's point hit so hard. He stayed in Chicago. He got stronger, meaner. And when his moment arrived, he didn't just win. He overwhelmed the league. 3 straight titles. Retired. Came back. Another 3 straight. 6 finals appearances. 6 championships. 6 finals MVPs. Undefeated when it mattered most. That's what it looks like when championships come to you. This is what Isiah understands, and what a lot of modern fans miss. Being the GOAT isn't just about numbers on a stat sheet. It's about aura, fear, presence. It's about opponents knowing the game is already lost before tip-off. When Michael Jordan walked into an arena in the 90s, teams weren't thinking about winning. They were thinking, how do we keep this within 20? That was the mindset. Because Jordan wasn't just going to beat you, he was going to humiliate you, crush your confidence, and leave scars you carried for the rest of your career. LeBron never had that effect. Even at his absolute peak, teams believed they could beat him, and they did. Repeatedly. Especially on the biggest stage. Jordan went to the finals 6 times and walked away perfect. LeBron went 10 times and lost more than he won. And somehow, people try to spin that as a positive. As if losing in the finals is more impressive than not losing at all. That logic makes no sense. Would you rather be 6-0 or 4-6? Perfect when it matters most, or sub-.500 on the grandest stage? Isiah knows the difference because he lived it. He watched Jordan flip a switch in the playoffs and turn into something almost inhuman. He saw what real killer instinct looks like. And when he looks at LeBron's career, the team hopping, the finals losses, the passive stretches and crucial moments, he sees a legend, no doubt. But not the GOAT, because the GOAT doesn't run from the grind. The GOAT doesn't need perfect conditions or total control. The GOAT makes it happen no matter what. So why isn't this take everywhere? Why hasn't Isiah's comment exploded across sports media and social platforms? Simple. It's inconvenient. The media has invested too much in the LeBron GOAT narrative, and Isiah just poked a hole straight through it. He's the face of the modern NBA. He's marketable, outspoken, and still performing at an elite level deep into his career. Networks need LeBron. Analysts need LeBron debates. The entire sports media machine thrives on keeping the GOAT discussion alive and unresolved. Because if Isiah's point, that LeBron hunted championships instead of forcing them into existence, ever becomes the dominant narrative, the conversation is over. LeBron slides to second or third, and the Jordan era becomes permanently untouchable. And that's terrible for business. So what happens instead? Isiah's comment gets buried. It doesn't trend. It doesn't get broken down on first take. Stephen A. isn't yelling about it. Shannon Sharpe isn't passionately defending LeBron on Undisputed, because the moment they acknowledge it, they have to confront it. And once you confront it honestly, the foundation of LeBron's GOAT case starts to crack. But truth doesn't care about ratings or engagement. And Isiah's truth is airtight. You can't be the greatest of all time if you had to manufacture the perfect situation 3 separate times, just to win 4 championships. Let's be clear. LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players ever. That part isn't debatable. His longevity is unprecedented. His basketball IQ is elite. His ability to control every aspect of the game is legendary. But does that make him the GOAT? According to Isiah Thomas, and according to the facts, it doesn't. Because greatness isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you achieve it. It's about the resistance you face, the fire you stand in, and whether you endure it or sidestep it. It's about being forged under pressure, not changing environments until conditions are perfect. LeBron's legacy will always be complicated by his choices. The decision, the super teams, the finals losses, the constant narrative management. These aren't footnotes, they're defining traits of his career. Jordan never had to answer those questions. Neither did Magic. Neither did Bird. Their legacies are simple, clean, and unshakable. And Isiah's point, that real GOATs don't chase championships, they make championships come to them, is something LeBron can never rewrite. That it's already written into history. It's all there on tape. It's in the team-hopping timeline everyone already knows by heart. So where does that leave us in 2025? It leaves us with a simple reality. LeBron James is an all-time legend, but the GOAT crown still belongs to Michael Jordan. No amount of media spin, longevity stats, or social media campaigning can erase the point Isiah made. And that point is undeniable. So here's the real question. Can someone truly be the greatest of all time if they needed to control every variable just to win? Or does Isiah have a truth we've all been avoiding for years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's actually settle this. Because basketball isn't played on a spreadsheet. It's not about who lasted the longest or who stacked the most counting stats. It's about who imposed their will when everything was on the line. And Isiah Thomas just reminded us of something uncomfortable. LeBron never did that without first building the perfect situation. If this video made you rethink the GOAT debate, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're dropping takes like this every week, digging into the stories and controversies the mainstream media won't touch. Share this with your friends who still think LeBron is the GOAT, and let's see if they can argue with Isiah's point. I'll see you in the next one.